Hello everyone and welcome to the EVN podcast. My name is Najat Zaturyan. I'm the editor of the creative tech section here at EVN Report. Our guest this week is Shahinyan. She's the co-founder and CEO of Fivebrane. She leads a platform designed to streamline the development of AI models in healthcare. Fivebrane provides tools that enable data scientists and healthcare professionals to collaborate while working with the data that is used to develop their models. It also provides analytical tools to evaluate the quality of their data. Anna shared with us how AI is used in medical imaging and healthcare today, as well as the potential it has to help doctors drive better treatment outcomes. Thank you for listening. Anna, thank you so much for coming here today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Let's start with a little bit of your background. I know you have a really rich background with a lot of different experiences. Yeah. So tell us how you got started and how you got to the world of AI.
Okay, my background is physics. I have done a PhD in quantum physics, and my co-founders also have PhD in quantum physics, and not only in high energy physics also. Basically, the story starts from the point when our background. So I was very interested in physics. I liked it too much, and my co-founder Tigran Gevorkyan was also working on our PhD stuff. And from that point, we know each other from our student years. It was really fun to know each other, and also we had an opportunity to work together at Instigate. Starting from my student years, when I was doing my master's, I also was working at Instigate Design. I have started as intern, and by 2018, I was promoted to CTO at Instigate Design. So.
How long was that journey from intern to CTO?
So I have started 2006 and promoted on 2018.
12 years.
Yeah. That's true. The goal to Instigate Design is that it is a deep tech outsourcing company in electronic design automation domain, basically. Of course, it has many domains like embedded systems design, and artificial intelligence, a lot of different stuff. Yeah, and it was really fun to work there, and that helped me to gain a lot of experience in tech.
Is that where you discovered AI as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So when electronic design automation domain industry, it is getting squeezed because there are many, as you can know, big companies who are each acquiring each other. So for startups, it is hard to stay there. And basically, the idea was to involve AI and for that time also AI was gaining its hype. And we decided to add the AI profile to the company. Yeah.
So you're like starting to take on AI projects from clients abroad and stuff. Yeah. And then what made you decide to leave the role of CTO and become a founder? I
mean, I think it was like...
Especially after 12 years, right? Like
It was really fun. I have worked at Instigate about 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. So it was enough to be in one company, even though it is nice, but whatever, you need to, at some point, you need to go.
Ready to graduate,
And to graduate, that's true. That's true. So that was the decision, and I wanted to discover other world. And it was 2020 when I left the company, and it was a pandemic period. I was doing consultancy for some companies in computer vision AI domain. And from that period, because it was hard to hire somebody else, and also it was pandemic period.
Yeah.
So that's why for that consultancy projects, I started to automate some stuff to help me and also involve my co-founders that we are now working with. So the point was that we wanted to automate to ship the results in a short period of time and also have a higher reliability on the results. It was AI.
You were trying to automate computer vision tasks?
Yeah.
Specifically what?
It was, one of them, was unmanned vessel navigation system for some Singaporean company. That was one thing. And because we received a lot of data, it was hard to understand and this is a big company. And when they're collecting data, at some point they are losing the management, how well and how diversified it is, and all this stuff is not available because it is for all big companies. You are at some point, one hand doesn't know what is doing the other hand.
Right.
And for us, it was very important to understand how good the data is and what is missing there, what about the data is. And first, we have started to add analysis tools to visualize, to extract meta information, to understand the data, which will help us also to build better AI solution. It is also goes to management. If I know the data has this type of biases and it doesn't have this type of information in it, so I can communicate this information with my customers. Say, look, if you give me more data in this domain, then we can increase the performance like this. Otherwise, it should fail in this domain. So it is going about predictability of your results, which is very important in AI, because in AI we work with multiple billions of parameters,
Right.
and it is really hard. I mean, you have also a tech background, you know that working with multi-billion parameters, it is hard, it is unpredictable, and we need to add some kind of, we need to leverage it and add more tools and get more insights about the data.
So the system that you built to automate some of that workflow was monitoring the performance of a model on a data set, or is looking just at the quality of the data?
So it has multi-layers. We have started with analyzing the data, unstructured data basically, and then the structured data. It is about extracting meta information from the unstructured data, analyzing it, picking up the core set, keeping the focus on a smaller set, which describes the whole data set. I mean, whole, it is like 90% at least, the data. And then based on that 90%, build AI solution and then incrementally improve it.
Explain what that the metadata that you'd be extracting is, so that people understand the entire life cycle.
But basically, if you're talking about images, it can be brightness, contrast, blurring information, sharpness, noise information there. And also we are extracting feature space from the images, like so from several layers, we are extracting meta information from the neural networks. We are extracting several layers information and see how this feature space is and how different classes, how many clusters do we have, and how close from the feature space point of view the points are close each other. And it means that we have semantic information, similar information there. So if we don't need to have a lot of similar information. So, and we don't waste our time on labeling on this similar information.
Right. So all of that information helps inform you on what to focus on to improve the system. Yeah. Right.
And which data points we can pick up for the later consideration of the annotation and then model training.
Right. And then was this what you turned into the product that became Fivebrane?
Yep. Yeah. So the starting point is to analyze the data, unstructured data, pick up the points that contains most of the information, describe better the data set, and then auto-label it. As I mentioned, we wanted to reduce the effort on a development. So we wanted to label the data based on very few images, like 50, 100 or more. So it depends on the field, of course, on how many images you will need to better automate this process. For some benchmark, we have some benchmarks that this works quite well with 50 or less images. In some, like in medical domain, our benchmark shows that it works with 100 to 120. In some case, we had with 200 images that has shown 98% accuracy on the rest dataset labeling. That is one point. And then we analyze the data, we label the data. And now we have this specific understanding like augmentation. When you are injecting you are transforming the data and you are getting more new data. And in order to understand which kind of data you need, again, you need to have a meta understanding of the data. That's why we also used this analysis information to understand which kind of transformations on the images we need to apply so that it will add information instead of noise, let's say.
But do you also need the model? Do you need the performance of some given model on that
So
data?
we have our own models that help us, but since there is only one point, there is one step to do. We have added in Fivebrane platform. It is infrastructure platform with a web interface that allows AI engineer to start from unstructured data and end up with AI model development. And nowadays we also have active learning cycle. This is like when you start with we're picking up some set of from unlabeled data set, label it, then train your model. Then based on that information that your model gives you feedback, you are picking up the next subset. So we also have this information in our platform, and it also works with the course set selection. So it can work if the engineers wants. It can work with this course set selection part, and the idea is to shorten the time to having the result and have it reliable result instead of unreliable results.
Right.
And redundancies, biases, overfitting, etc.
Right. So tell us the primary use case you guys are focused on.
Now we are mostly focused on medical domain because from our analysis, we come up that in medical AI that are working with medical imaging, the value that the platform brings, it is high because so building AI solution is expensive. Building medical AI solution is quite expensive.
Yeah.
So reducing the budget and efforts there is big impact, can have big impact. It has big impact rather than the other domains. So because the point that I mentioned that we can, because for example in medical domain, the data is a real value. It is hard to acquire new data. In automotive, it is not because it is everywhere.
Right.
And that is one point. Everybody
for
understands.
medical, I guess you have to wait for someone to go get a scan, and then they have to be willing to give that scan to some data set.
That's true.
Right. That's very hard.
It is very hard.
Yeah.
And for that, we have also added, it hasn't finalized yet, we are adding a layer that we are leaving the data on the hospital, on the healthcare environment. And the AI model, it is called federated training. AI model is, let's say, goes to the healthcare infrastructure site, learns the data, and takes only meta information. We are not taking the data. But of course, we can have also the data to the same platform, to the same infrastructure. So it is currently in place, but this federated training, we are in the development process and working on that, and expecting that this will reduce the effort on negotiating, on acquiring data, and reduce the efforts on data access also. So
through federated learning, you, without directly gaining access to the actual image sample, you just take the features of that image sample that would be what the neural net would need to come up with some prediction at the end. Right? So it's a privacy-focused thing, which is obviously extremely important for the medical domain.
And also it reduces the security issues like maintenance of the infrastructure. That is one aspect again that Fivebrane provides. I have stopped saying that, for example, in medical domain, medical experts, doctors need to annotate the data. But currently we have a shortage of pathologists, we have shortage of radiologists, and it is really hard to involve a good expert in R&D tasks. That it is, but in order to have high reliability on your AI, you need to have expert.
Yeah, because in other domains, you can get non-experts to annotate the data because it's easy for people to see what a stop sign is and label it as a stop sign. But if I'm looking at an X-ray of a lung, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Right? Only a doctor or a radiologist would be able to see. Yeah, I never even considered how difficult it must be to get those extremely busy people to sit down and label stuff. Do they make like medical students or lower tiered people in the...
So it depends. It depends on the cases, of course. We also have consensus. We have also not a consensus in medical domain. You need to always have two opinions or more than two opinions. And in order to leverage this and we'll also help with the help of technology to reduce the efforts and help. We have designed unsupervised technology that doesn't have a biases from the medical experts, because medical experts can have different opinions about the same disease, the same picture. We have another unsupervised technology that verifies. I wouldn't say that it verifies. It is like another opinion. So let's not say we can verify doctors' doctors' decisions, but it is another opinion.
But do they accept that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
In some cases they do.
So
In some cases,
for example,
no.
if you're looking at a skin cancer, an image of a mole or a rash that could be skin cancer, you're saying that in order to label that image as malignous, as it is cancer, there would need to be at least two doctors approving that?
It depends on the cases again, but in some cases we need to do. In general, in the medical domain, it is better when somebody annotates, the other one verifies.
Okay.
Because in any case, it is a matter of eye and how. If you have seen radiological images that are gray,
right,
black and white, something like this, and it is really the doctors are doing it maybe an hour. They can look if it is some difficult case. They can look into it many hours. 30 minutes, I don't know. So it depends on the case. And if they are tired, they cannot notice it because just you are tired.
Right.
And it is small change in the image.
Right.
So that's why it is mostly the protocol requires in most of the cases requires that another one can verify. And if there is no consensus, we need to find a third person. Or something like or another technology. Interesting.
Would the third person that sort of breaks the tie ever be the technology, or would it be doctor technology, and then if there's a disagreement, another doctor looks at it and makes a determination?
We always rely on the doctor, what doctor is saying.
They get the final say, understandably.
There's been a lot of talk over the last couple of years of like, for example, earlier you mentioned self-driving cars. There's been a lot of work done in synthetic data generation. One, because it's much cheaper to do. You can generate all the scenarios that you think are important for your model. But it sounds like for the medical space, I don't know, but it sounds like it would be extremely difficult or impossible to do, given how much safety and rail guards there need to be in place to ensure that the quality of the data is high. So is there any work being done in that space? Or?
They are. Now we are working with one company, and we are doing some type of research to understand. So they are generating their data lake startup, and they are generating data in medical images. Also, they have, and
this is synthetic data.
It is some part of synthetic data, but the main problem with synthetic data generation is that in some cases we can end up that it doesn't make sense from an anatomical point of view. It is the hard part. So we can generate, but if we have some white point somewhere from an anatomic point of view, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it has to be so precise that, Like I was generating these images over the weekend of Christmas in Yerevan in the early 90s. And it generates the image, but there's like gifts that people are supposed to be holding, but instead of them holding it, it's just kind of like on their chest. Which is fine if it's just a little picture of Yerevan in 1990, but if it's a cancer screening or something, that could be someone's life or death, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we have also tried something that at the moment didn't end up something valuable that can be state of. It is for the moment we haven't come to some state of art solution.
Yeah.
But for sure, at some point we can. I hope so.
Yeah, the future's long. Let's speak a little bit about where AI in medical imaging is being used today, just in hospitals, and how are hospitals utilizing this technology? What are they using it for?
This is growing domain in general, and it's the market, the growth. The growth is estimated per year 36, and so it depends. For imaging, it 36, something like that. For AI in healthcare, it is 42, the growth rate. But adaptation is quite hard because different points. First, radiologists afraid to adopt it. Second, again, we have for the startups, the point from having the solution and bringing it to hospital, it is long because they need to pass the regulations, compliances, and all this stuff. And it is taking from 2 to 4 years, depending on which country, which type of solution you are bringing to. Basically, the solutions are mostly used in diagnostic domain, and there are some solutions for surgery domain. So they are different, but most of them are used for like assistance for the doctors. As I said, currently we have a shortage of pathologists, we have shortage of radiologists, and they work on the press, and it is hard for them really to, if the AI solution can help them to make in a short period of time, make and put the concentration, like you can look to this point, and from my point of view, like AI is saying, here is this type of disease, or there is not disease. This in general helps, but again, the adaptation is far away. For the moment, many companies are startups basically are struggling. That is.
Earlier, when you said those numbers, like 42%, those are percentages, like year over year, how much it's growing, the usage of it in hospitals. Is there one country that is doing it more aggressively than others? Is it the US, or is there like an outlier country that we might not think of?
I know some companies who have adopted solution in US, in Israel, in Great Britain. So this is the companies that I know.
Countries.
So I know companies that have adopted their solution in these countries.
Right.
Yeah, and basically it is US, Great Britain.
Right. So the usual players. Do we know what results?
I would like to mention that Africa is also has some type of plans, and because they need more medical expertise and having some, and they have many diseases that are widely spread there, and now they are in the they are not adopting as US and Great Britain, but there is a good concentration there.
Is it also a factor of this makes the doctors' work more efficient and faster? So if you have a shortage of doctors in any one part of the world, they would be interested in adopting it faster in order to help mitigate that gap, or?
That is the expectation.
Right.
That is the expectation, basically. And also, this can help management, healthcare management, hospitals management, so that they can provide better services. And for example, in US, you shouldn't wait weeks for the doctor's decision. It is some issue.
Right.
That's why it is one of the frontiers to adopt AI-driven solutions. So it depends on, of course, again, on the expectations from the healthcare system.
Right. Do we have any data on the countries and the hospitals, rather, that have implemented this? What outcomes they've seen? Like, is patient care better? Are doctors able to get through more cases more quickly?
No, I don't have this type of numbers.
It's just too early.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not. I can look into that. I haven't investigated that part. Yeah, but in some cases, I mean, I don't really know the numbers, but there are improvements in the context of about when it goes to rare diseases.
I was also reading that one of the things that AI in medical imaging is really helping doctors with is patient tracking, over like the life cycle of their treatment, because those scans need to constantly be compared and stuff, and it results in better treatment outcomes because the data that the doctor is working with is more accurate than.
It is also about early diagnostics, because I don't know whether you have noticed that article. It was in CNN, if I'm not mistaken, like when the breast cancer AI has predicted 4 years before, then the doctors have seen it.
Wow.
4 years is quite big number.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is, the main question is about how early we can detect, and because AI it works with much more data rather than single doctor can work, and it is a matter of numbers.
Right. That's incredible, because it's so often spoken about how cancer can be treated much better if we just caught things much, much earlier. So if you could catch it, like for example, breast cancer 4 years before the average doctor could, it could probably plummet the number of deaths in that space, right?
Yeah. Basically, that's why we are very excited in our company that we can help in early diagnostics and the technology. So basically, we are not the company that provides the solution to the hospital. We are in the middle that provides technology to companies to build better AI solution, adopt it, have it in a short period of time, and have a reliable solution. And that is the main thing that we are mostly focused on. Now we are doing with some institutes investigation of rare diseases. So because we have data optimized intrinsic AI models, we are now doing research to understand whether these can be useful for rare diseases. So this work is under development, and hope in 3 months we'll have some solution and we'll let you know.
Why would rare diseases be different? Is it just because there's much less data on it?
There are few data, and also in real life, rare diseases, because if you are not, you don't have a big experience in the domain, like a doctor doesn't have a big experience in the domain, you can skip it, or because it is like, intuition sometimes. No, not intuition. I don't think it is bad word to say for the doctors. If you haven't seen it before, you cannot recognize it. Let's say in that way. And in AI, so it means that again, if we have few data, we cannot build knowledge on top of that. That is the issue with the rare diseases. And because they are not well recognized, again, you are not collecting this data like a rare disease. So
right. It makes it much more harder to build an AI solution.
Yeah.
Geoffrey Hinton, famous machine learning scientist, he famously said, I think it was mid-2010s, like maybe 2016, that in 5 years we won't be training radiologists anymore. It's been more than 5 years and we're still training radiologists. When do you think we'll get to a point where we will have so much confidence and trust in AI systems that they will nearly entirely augment a radiologist's job? It's a tough question. Or maybe like the amount of radiologists we'll need will drastically decrease.
It is hard, of course. If Geoffrey Hinton couldn't predict it, so don't rely on my numbers.
It's more your domain than his, though.
But well, not so far. I think so. It depends, because in some countries you still work, you fill number, you fill papers, and again papers, even though we have electronic information. So it depends. But we should agree that AI solutions shouldn't never make a decision. This is
just advice.
They can assist. This is one thing that, because it is about regulations, and these regulations will not be changed. If they change, then we'll all be in a trouble, because we want a human to treat us and make a decision.
For now.
For now. I don't think we want to. I think as a human being, we would like to be treated by human, to feel the empathy, etc., etc. I don't know. If we come up to the point that we'll have a bio-robots, maybe.
Like humanoid, human-looking, perfect machines.
For the moment, I don't see this future. Let's say, maybe I'm wrong, but 20 years? Let's predict on 20 years.
Okay, we'll come back here and do another podcast in 20 years.
20 years, I'm saying about bio-robots. About adaptation, I feel it can take from 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years?
Not fully, but some guidance, some that we can see in Armenia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be amazing. Tell us where Fivebrane is today. What progress have you guys made since launching? And I know you guys were a part of Berkeley Skydeck recently.
So we were in Berkeley Skydeck Europe Acceleration Program. It was really fun. Now we have several partnerships with Armenian, Italian, and Portuguese hospitals for research purpose and other type of like gaining knowledge. We have several customers from out of Armenia, and we have users from Italy. So that is where we are, and we are building again. We're continuing to build the platform. It is mostly in place, and it works. We have some good results on that. Analyzed, for example, 20,000 images and pick up from that data set 2,000 images. That with that 2,000 images, the same accuracy has been achieved as with training with 20,000 images. Also, another benchmark that we have done, it is with the technology and supervised technology for MRI images for brain cancer. With this, we have achieved 94% accuracy and 94% sensitivity, also detecting the correct brain cancer, distinguishing the brain cancer. Now we are planning again to do researches with well-known universities. We're now 6 in a company.
6 in addition to the founders, or
no?
Altogether. Altogether. Okay. Yeah. I'm curious. You mentioned that you guys are also working with Armenian institutions. Can you speak a little bit more about that? How is it being used in Armenia?
So we have started. We are doing a couple of research in Armenia. One of them, we are doing research with Histogen. It is a pathology center. Both practical and research center. There we are investigating the infections. For them, we have just a month before we have started to analyze and work with their data. That is one aspect. Another research that we have, it is with Armenian School of Radiology. Also, yet another one we are starting. With the Hematology Center, a pediatric cancer department team. The most interest is again to investigate mostly on rare diseases and also the ones that are popular in Armenia.
Like there's diseases specifically that are problematic, right?
Like because first of all we have data,
right.
Second we have the knowledge,
right,
from the medical expert point of view.
Not and you're here,
yeah. And we are here. We are only R&D team,
right. Anna, last question. Where do you hope to see Fivebrane in 5 years? It's a hint 10 question.
I don't know how to answer to this question.
What problem do you hope Fivebrane is solving in 5 years?
It is going again to be the platform that automatically will help the AI solution. We're also going to have research because at some point we want to have foundation model for the medical domain, and from that again we need research teams to work on our technologies with us. In general, we see it like the only platform that can be used for medical imaging AI solutions. later cases will add also the written form of diagnostics, and because medical experts, how they treat, they also ask questions to the patients, right? And the decision is not only made on the looking into the scan.
Yeah.
So that is in general where we plan to go.
Fantastic. I wish you a lot of luck with it, and I hope you'll come back before 20 years to tell us about how it went. Thank you so much,
Thank
Anna.
you. Thank you very much.